In all my years of leadership, I've learned one thing for sure. The biggest breakthroughs, the real periods of growth, they never, ever happen when the path forward is clear. They happen when the map is blank. So today, we're not just going to talk about how to survive market uncertainty. We're going to talk about how to master it, how to turn all that unknown into your single greatest strategic weapon. Let's get into it. Take a look at this. This is pretty much where we all are right now, isn't it? In a world that feels like it's shifting under our feet every single day. Now, it is so easy to see this blank map as a threat. But the best leaders I've ever had the privilege of knowing, they see it for what it really is, an invitation, a call to adventure. This isn't a void to be afraid of. It's a canvas, an opportunity for you to draw the future you want to see. All right, so our journey starts right here in this uncharted territory. This is the moment where leadership really gets defined, not by following the well-worn paths, but by finding the courage to chart a completely new one. And yeah, that brings us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? The one that can freeze even the best teams in their tracks. When every single direction feels like a huge gamble, when the fog of uncertainty is just this thick, how do you possibly take that first decisive step? It's a question I've seen stall some of the most brilliant executives I know. Now, this slide just lays out the choice we're facing perfectly. Take a look at that bar on the left, the cost of inaction. It's not just about standing still, it's a steep negative nosedive. But then, look over at the bar on the right, the ROI of proactive strategy. The return you get from making a bold move into that uncertainty, it's exponential. This shows us so clearly that the big risk isn't in moving. The real risk is in doing nothing at all. So, how do we move? Well, ancient navigators, they had this practice called Guan Xing, basically stargazing, to chart their course across these vast, totally unknown oceans. For us, as modern leaders, our stars are the signals all around us, often just hiding in plain sight, right inside our data. We really have to fundamentally reframe how we see our data. It's not just a rearview mirror showing us where we've been, right? It's our main navigational tool for the journey ahead. It's the compass that points us in a direction and the sextant that helps us figure out where we are in relation to the future we're trying to build. And this whole practice, it actually has a name, signal intelligence. It's really the disciplined art of looking past all the day-to-day noise to find those faint signals of what's coming next. It's all about training your entire organization to see not just what is, but what is becoming. So where are these signals? Well, they're right here. They're in those emerging technologies your engineers are tinkering with. They're in those subtle little shifts in how your customers are actually living their lives. They're buried in the fine print of new regulations, and this one's huge. They're in the places your competitors are completely ignoring. These are your stars. This is what you watch. But listen, finding your North Star, that's really just the beginning of the journey. The path itself, well, it's going to test you. The market will throw you curveballs, your competitors will challenge you. This isn't failure. This is the gauntlet. And this right here is a core mindset shift. These challenges, they aren't obstacles getting in the way of your strategy. They are the strategy. Every disruption is a chance to get stronger, to get more agile, to get more focused. This is the forge. It's where your company's resilience gets hammered into shape, creating a competitive edge that nobody can just copy. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Let's look at the stories, the real stories of those who have actually navigated this gauntlet and made it to the summit. These are the pioneers who prove that this path isn't just possible, it's incredibly profitable. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The leaders of these companies, they didn't wait for a green light or for a clear path to magically appear. They just understood that in a moment of total uncertainty, the opportunity to define the next chapter, it belongs to the bold. So, the key is how this attitude actually turns into results. Let's look at Retail Inc. They were facing dying foot traffic, a classic fog of uncertainty scenario. They didn't just build a slightly better website. No, they created this seamless, phygital experience, blending their physical stores with digital tools, and boom, customer engagement shot up by 45%. Or look at TechCorp. Instead of getting into a street fight with a new disruptor, they sidestepped into a high-value niche the other guys couldn't touch. The result, they grabbed 30% of that market in less than 2 years. They didn't just survive, they completely changed the game. And this is really what that whole journey looks like. You're moving from the chaos and reactive state of just trying to navigate the fog on the left to the absolute clarity, the purpose, and the strategic direction you see on the right. That transformation, it's the direct result of embracing that blank map and making a courageous move. Which, of course, brings us to the most important part of this whole hero's journey. You've navigated the gauntlet, you've found a new way forward. Now, you have to bring that elixir, that winning strategy back to your people and make it real. So, here's your action plan. Simple. First, assemble your fellowship, a small, empowered, cross-functional team. Second, you're going to launch a signal watch. Make reviewing those key market signals a weekly, non-negotiable meeting. Third, run a blank map session. Get your best people in a room and give them explicit permission to dream beyond today's limits. And finally, and this might be the most critical step of all, define one bold move. Not a 10-point plan, one single high-impact experiment you can get off the ground this quarter to start building real momentum. So, we end right back where we started. The map in front of you is blank. The future is completely unwritten. The question is no longer where do we go, but rather what new world are we going to choose to create? The pen is in your hand. What are you going to draw?